Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, the truth, and of course, my comments. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, before we get into this, I do want to give a shout out and a big thanks and gratitude for Charlie Joyner being on my show last week. And if you missed that and you guys want to see it, he was on audio form, but his stories and his going down memory lane were just absolutely just riveting. Just, he knows definitely how to keep things together and talk about. Hold on, guys. I got someone at my door. I don't know who it is. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. So in any case, I just want to say thank you for him being on. It was an honor and a privilege. And like I said, if you guys haven't seen it, you can go back to and look for the Charlie Joyner interview on the MHRT Network YouTube channel. You can also find it on my channel, Broncos Breakdown YouTube. So it's definitely worth watching, guys. It's definitely worth listening. If you just want to listen to it, that's fine. It's also on the iHeartRadio app. So check that out. And I'm telling you, it's well worth it. All right, guys, before I get into the topic I want to go to, or the topics, I should say, Avatar says, what's up, Broncos country and 2023 NBA champions, Nuggets Nation. There you go. You got it. Absolutely. That's going to be my my lead story. So you definitely want to hear about that. Got some good stuff. Bubba Gonzalez says, hey, Bill. I say, hey, Bubba, what's up, man? Glad to have you in the house. Glad to have Avatar and Bubba in the house, as always. Very appreciative. All right. Let me get into the Nuggets. I'm going to read a little bit of article. This one just came in a little bit ago, but I'm going to start out with what I had in my notes. The Denver Nuggets did something never done before in their basketball existence. They won the NBA championship, defeating the Miami Heat 4-1. Now, they had a parade, obviously, in Denver yesterday. Listen to this. They partied, they being the Nuggets players and coaches, they partied with 750,000 of their closest friends in downtown Denver at a parade. 750,000 people. That is remarkable, guys. Absolutely remarkable. Denver public or fans, they turn out for parades. And the Broncos have had 3. The Avalanche have 3. And now the Nuggets have 1. So, and it doesn't matter how many times any one of those teams wins it, they keep showing up. Why? Because it's Denver. It's Colorado. It's a community. It's a well-knit and well-meshed community. They support their teams, and that's what I love. I continue. Then, after the parade, then immediately headed to one of America's favorite cities to let it loose. What city is that? Here we go. The Denver Nuggets hit Las Vegas mere hours after their victory parade wrapped up on Thursday. Photos and videos overnight surfaced of Nuggets players Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Porter Jr., Green, Caldwell Pope, Brown, DeAndre Jordan, and others partying at Hakkasan nightclub. The owner, Josh Kroenke, was with the group as well. Now, that's important to me that Kroenke was there. Why? Because he wanted to make sure those guys didn't get out of hand. Now, could he 100% control them? Probably not. But when he probably undoubtedly brought people with him to make sure that they behaved themselves. They just won the NBA championship. They're in Las Vegas. Hello. A lot of things don't go too well in Vegas, as I've reported in some of my Jackass of the Week things. Anyways, says Nuggets kept the party going at Hakkasan nightclub in Vegas last night and into this morning. Got that right. They're one happy bunch of people. And I totally don't blame them. Absolutely don't blame them. So anyways, it says here, I love this part. This is pretty cool. An article from the Las Vegas Review-Journal says DJ Pauly D of Jersey Shore fame was rocking the club and wearing a Jamal Murray jersey. Jokic was brought a bottle of vodka from his home country of Serbia. How cool is that? How cool is that? That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I conclude with this. If their summer, being the Nuggets, if the Nuggets summer is anything like the Avalanche's a year ago, get ready, because this won't be the last time we see the team out and about having a great time. There you go. I mean, come on, think about it. You're winning a championship for the very first time, and you're just going to be content with 750,000 people showing up at your parade, which is pretty spectacular. No, they board a plane and head to Vegas and say, we got to keep this thing going, man. This is incredible. This is a once in a lifetime. And it is once in a lifetime, because you only win it the first time once. You can't win it a first time twice. That's impossible. You know, the Broncos did it in 97. The Avalanche did it in 90. I got it right here, 96. And the Nuggets did it in 2023. There's only a first time once. So congratulations to the congratulations to the NBA champions, Denver Nuggets. Enjoy yourself. Have a wonderful offseason, and you totally deserved having a party like that. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Let's see. Avatar says Nuggets have a 96% chance of keeping their team together. Well, that's good. That's what they need. You know, a lot of times what happens is, you know, you win a championship, but we all know, you know, being Broncos fans and Avalanche fans, you win a championship, and what happens? Your team gets split up. Why? Because you can't pay everybody. And that's the problem. And that bothers me to no end. And I understand people want to get paid more, and, you know, I totally get it. But man, I just wish that, you know, like the Avalanche could have kept all of their players. You know, Broncos could have kept all of theirs. Well, they did when they went 97, 98. That was a treat. So, you know, I'm just very, very excited for the Nuggets. I'm not a huge basketball fan. That's like, I don't know, it's not on my top 2 or 3 favorites. But doing the neighborhood with Madungus Creevy and myself, I've really come to appreciate and respect this team for what they've done and the hard work. They're a fun team to watch. And that Jokic kid, oh my gosh, is that guy amazing. Absolutely amazing. Once again, congratulations to the NBA champions, Denver Nuggets. All right, I move on. Okay, now it's time to spin it to football. Last Friday, and I was telling you that I was doing the show with Charlie Joyner on as my guest. I didn't get to any of the topics, so I'm going back. Last Friday, the Minnesota Vikings released Dalvin Cook after 6 seasons. Minnesota couldn't find a trade partner, so the release freed up $14.1 million in cap space. Cook turns 28 in August, and although that isn't old by a person's lifespan, it is considered old, in quotes, old, in football terms. Well, that's very true. It is considered old in football terms. But Dalvin Cook, to me, isn't washed up. And the reason why I brought this up is, do the Denver Broncos take a chance on him? Do the Broncos look to Dalvin Cook's agent and say, hey, we'd like to bring him in, see what he's got, see what he can give us? Why not? Again, I've mentioned many times before, guys, we don't know what we're going to get from a Javonte Williams. We don't know what or how he's going to hold up by being hit numerous times in a game or a series of games or in a season. We don't know that. Sure, you know, he looks great in OTAs. That's phenomenal. But you're not going to get clocked and hit hard by your own teammates like you would by a team like, say, the Kansas City Chiefs or the Vegas Raiders or the LA Chargers. You're not going to get hit like that. You're just not. And we don't know. So why not have a Dalvin Cook? Why not bring him in? People say, well, okay, well, who are you going to release? I'm not releasing anybody. Maybe put him on the practice squad. That's not releasing him. Sure, they could get picked up by another team. And I guess that's the chance you take. But I'm saying Dalvin Cook at age 28. And to me, he's not washed up. There's other running backs that are older that are still producing. So I say, what is the harm of bringing him in, giving him a look-see, a workout or work through, and evaluate what he still has. If he doesn't have it, okay, let him go. Just say thanks for thanks for your time, and wish you all the best. I don't see any harm in that. Do I think the Broncos organization is going to do that? I don't know. I hope so, because it's no skin off their back, so to speak. It's no big deal. You bring him in, you see what he has, doesn't have it, let him go. But obviously, if nobody was willing to make a trade for him, and I think he's due 11 point something this year, a little over 11 million this year. Maybe that's one of the reasons why teams are not, going head over heels to try and sign him or bring him in. He's probably going to ask close to what the cap space would be at 14. Is he worth 14? Is he worth 11 at age 28? I don't know. He lost a little bit last year, so I'm not sure. But if he was willing to take less, like say 7 or 8 mil, I say Denver should bring him in and at least give him a look-see as to what he has. All right. Now, the topic of the show is called, Can Vance Joseph make it work? Make it work how? Here we go. Former Broncos head coach Vance Joseph reached out to another former Bronco head coach, Wade Phillips, in regards to coming back as a coordinator after being their head coach in previous years. Phillips said, and I quote, "I reminded him that I was the coach that was let go and came back as a coordinator and won Super Bowl 50. Joseph said, hopefully I can follow his trail," end quote. Both of those were quotes and end quotes. So basically, Vance Joseph is okay to come back as a defensive coordinator. And it was great of him, and shows great what am I looking for? Shows great intuition to reach out to a Wade Phillips and say, hey, you were the Broncos head coach at one time, and then you came back as a defensive coordinator and you won Super Bowl 50. Maybe I can do that. Maybe I can come back to the Broncos as their defensive coordinator and we can have the same type of result. I sure hope so. Absolutely, I hope so. And if Vance Joseph is okay with being the coordinator under Sean Payton, and heaven knows who wouldn't want that job. I mean, Sean Payton is Sean Payton. He's great. So for Vance Joseph to embrace being the defensive coordinator of the Broncos, heading into 2023, and he reached out to Wade Phillips as encouragement, as in, how to embrace this. Wade Phillips was the best person he could have reached out to, and that's exactly what he did. So do I think Vance Joseph is going to be an excellent defensive coordinator? I don't know. I mean, he obviously, he has the capability. Sean Payton believes in him, and that's why he hired him as a defensive coordinator. So if Sean Payton, obviously looks at this and says Vance Joseph can do a phenomenal job, I'm bringing him in, then it's okay with me. And as long as Vance Joseph wraps his head around this and does the best possible job he can as being that defensive coordinator, then I'm all in. But I said that last year when we had Ack. I would drink that orange and blue Kool-Aid all day long, because it was the hype. It was the emotion. We had Russell Wilson coming in. We had Nathaniel Hackett, a great offensive coordinator with Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Well, that didn't work out too well. But Sean Payton is not Nathaniel Hackett. And Nathaniel Hackett was nowhere even close to Sean Payton. So, yes, I do feel that Sean Payton will get the best out of Vance Joseph one way or another. As long as Vance Joseph just totally consumes what Sean Payton wants from him and then gets the best out of the Broncos players, Denver will be okay. All right. On a sad note, actually, I have back-to-back sad notes I hate to bring, but it's out there, so I got to bring it. Broncos Ring of Fame kicker Jim Turner passed away at the age of 82. Turner was on the New York Jets Super Bowl championship team in Super Bowl III, the only championship the Jets have ever won. and later he played 9 seasons for the Denver Broncos. Turner retired. At the time, Turner retired as the NFL's all-time field goal leader with 304 field goals. Wow. Jim Turner, I remember watching you. Absolutely remember watching you. No, I don't remember watching him on the Jets in Super Bowl III. I was way too young for that. But I do remember Jim Turner on the Denver Broncos. I believe he wore number 15. He's in the Broncos Ring of Fame, like it stated. And my heart goes out to his wife and his family and Broncos country and definitely the Broncos organization. Jim Turner, may you rest in peace. All right, let's move on. Another sad note, this is way too young, and we're having way too many young people. Here it is. Son of Baltimore Ravens legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer Ray Lewis has died. He was not Ray Lewis's son, which is Ray Lewis III. He was 28 years young. Details of the circumstances surrounding his death were not yet known. This happened yesterday, Thursday. Rashawn Lewis, Ray Lewis III's brother, said, and I quote, he was a true angel. I pray you're at peace now because I knew how much you were really hurting. I love you. I love you. I love you. End quote. Wow. 28 years old. Don't know what happened. I'm not going to speculate, but that is extremely, extremely sad. My heart goes out to Ray Lewis, his family. Apparently, Ray Lewis III was one of 6 children that Ray Lewis has. And sadly, one of them has passed away at the tender age of 28. Ray Lewis III, may you also rest in peace. All right. Now, we go to primetime. Not primetime on TV, not primetime in any sport, but primetime. NFL legend and Colorado Buffaloes head coach Deion Sanders' doctor says primetime could lose his entire foot due to a medical condition. What the heck? Sanders has said, and I quote, standing all 4 quarters causes my foot to be extremely painful and hard to stand, end quote. Wow. I'm kind of wondering if that has anything to do with playing football. Injuries, maybe twisting an ankle. I don't want to speculate, guys. I really don't, because I don't know what it is. You just said medical condition. Could be a lot of things. Absolutely a lot of things. Could be diabetes. I don't know. I'm not sure. It could be a host of things. But I wish Deion Sanders all the best. I mean, being a head coach on the sidelines, you're pacing back and forth. You're walking up and down the sidelines. I've never seen a head coach just actually sit down. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what the parameters could be. I don't know if the NCAA, has stipulations that, head coaches have to stand the whole time. They can't sit down. I don't know. I have no clue. But I thought that was extremely interesting. And that came out of the blue on my phone. I'm like, what the heck? I tried to find more articles on it and everything like that, but basically that's all it says. So I wish Deion all the best. I know that he's excited to be the Colorado Buffaloes head coach. He's excited to be, in Colorado and loves the state and loves the football team. And I just wish him all the best. I mean, he hasn't even played an or even coached an NCAA game yet. And then now this. So I'm hoping there's some accommodations for him. I'm hoping that he gets better. But if his doctors are saying that, as far as, I don't know. Are they saying it because he's standing all the time? Most likely. Walking, moving, I don't know. I have no idea. But that to me is, like I said, I wish him all the best. Absolutely wish him all the best. Okay, guys. Haven't had this for a while, but every single time I need to bring up this particular segment, it usually surrounds one person. Yep, we're back to that one person. Here it is, guys. The jackass of the week. All right. Well, see if any of you out there guessed it. The jackass of the week goes to none other than the one who's been the jackass of the week most of the time on my shows, Antonio Brown. I just don't understand this guy. I really don't understand. But here we go. The National Arena League has kicked out the Albany Empire from the league yesterday, Thursday, after team owner Antonio Brown failed to pay either a required fee or a fine, he received after recent comment. The National Arena League said a team accountant told officials, and I quote, that it didn't seem like Mr. Brown, I don't know if I call him Mr., but he's being polite, that it didn't seem like Mr. Brown was going to pay the assessment or the fine, end quote. That led to the league removing the Albany Empire. Antonio, what in heaven's name are you doing? I mentioned a couple of shows ago, maybe a month or so ago, that Antonio Brown has been in and out of trouble. This guy just can't seem to keep his freaking nose clean and do the right thing. There was he fired or released, I should say, both of his quarterbacks last week after they lost and fell to 1-6. He fired both of them. Well, how do you do that? Now you fire both of them. You don't have a quarterback. He hasn't paid some of his players. I mentioned this. This is all I'm mentioning, several shows ago. He hasn't paid some of his players. He's locked out players from their hotels. This guy's a basket case, an absolute nut job. How in heaven's name do you not pay these guys? I mean, you want to own a team? You want to be respected? Antonio, you've gone around saying you don't get any respect. You don't get respected. You get this and that. Well, you've earned not to get respected because you don't show respect. You don't show what you're supposed to do as an owner. As an athlete on the field, you don't go and take your freaking jersey off and parade around the end zone and go in the locker room and walk off the field like you did in Tampa Bay. You don't do that. You don't go into a pool in a public pool and then expose yourself to an elderly woman wouldn't say elderly. I don't know how old she was, but she was, she wasn't in her 20s. You don't do that. What is heaven's name is wrong with you, man? Seriously? And now you're not paying these guys, and you're not going to pay the assessment. And you're not going to pay the fee or the fine. So what else was the National Arena League supposed to do but kick you out as well as your team? Antonio, I'll tell you what, man. If it was anybody else but you, probably be in jail or wouldn't be allowed to even own anything. But you're Antonio Brown, and somehow, some way, people keep giving you things they shouldn't, keep allowing you to do things you shouldn't. I just don't understand, man. I don't get it. Absolutely don't get it. I mean, we all got to pay bills, dude. I pay bills every freaking month. I know they're not as high as yours, but I ain't making the money that you did. So it's all relative. You pay what you have and what you can afford. Wow. Antonio, I would like to say I wish you the best. I don't even know if you know what that is. I don't even know if you even comprehend what the best is, because you obviously haven't been able to figure out how to just do the right thing. Whew. Well, I feel more bad for the players and the coaches, because they're the ones that are getting screwed here. They don't have a team anymore. They're not involved in the league anymore. And these guys love football and they want to play football. But then Antonio Brown comes in and just screws the whole thing up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like I said, I just feel sorry for the players. I really do. It's their livelihood. They're making money, or well, they should be. They should not have gotten paid, but according to Antonio Brown, that ain't gonna happen. Wow. Unbelievable. Feel so sorry. Okay. Rich says, "Hey Bill." I say, "Hey Rich, nice to have you in the house. As always, appreciate it so much." Rich also says, "What was the fine for?" He was fined, Rich. He was fined. Let me go back to that because I think it's right here. Um, I didn't read it what the fine was, but it says that it said Brown is not going to pay the assessment. So apparently he needed to pay money to the league for like I don't know if it's like being part of the league or there was some money that like owners pay into, like the NFL owners have to pay in to be in the league up front. So apparently he didn't do that. So they fined him, and he's not going to pay that either. And he hasn't paid his players. So, and like I said earlier, he locks players out of the hotel room. I mean, the guy is a complete basket case. And he's unbelievable, just absolutely unbelievable. But I don't know the actual reason for the fine, but I'm assuming, we all know what happens when you assume, but in any case, I'm thinking or leaning towards the fact that he's had these assessments that he hasn't paid, so they levied a fine on him, and then he didn't pay that, so they just kicked him out. So the end of Antonio Brown so far. He'll probably resurface somewhere and do something else that'll get him on the Jackass of the Week, but he's back on, obviously, in this show because of those stupid moves. All right. This is interesting. And I've got a take on quite a bit of, well, let me just get into it. All right. Forbes, we all know what Forbes is. They're the ones that come out with, financial assets and, income and things of that nature. Well, Forbes has listed 13 NFL teams among the top 25 as most profitable. All right. Who do you guys think was the most profitable? New England? Dallas? Yep, you'd be right if you said Dallas. Dallas profit income, obviously, profit income is number one with 1.17 billion with a B, guys. Everybody else is in the millions. Dallas is the only football organization that's in the billions for income assets. Wow. Well, of course, they call themselves America's team. You got Jerry Jones. You got, everything that the Cowboys stand for, their marketing, their cheerleaders, their stadium that's basically open 365 days a year to do whatever. They've got tours. They've got all kinds of stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that Dallas is number one because Jerry Jones won't have it any other way, pretty much. There's a couple of teams on there that are ahead of Denver in the income revenue that is very, very surprising to me. Number two is the New England Patriots at 623 mil. Houston, of all people. Houston, 356 mil. Where does Houston come in? How do they come in that higher than Denver? 356 mil for the Texans? Why? Because they're in Dallas? Because they maybe piggyback off of some of the things that the Cowboys, but Cowboys are NFC and Texans are AFC. So I don't know. Maybe it's a Texas thing. I don't know. But that surprises me that they're ahead. The Giants are 333 million. Well, they're New York, so they're going to get support. Giants reign more superior over the Jets when it comes to merchandise and ticket sales and all that kind of stuff. So that doesn't really surprise me. Los Angeles Rams, 318 million? Really? Ahead of Denver? Rams. Nobody goes to their games unless they're winning. Nobody supports them, but they won a Super Bowl so a couple of years ago. So maybe that had a lot to do with, because this whole Forbes listing, it was based on last year, 2022. So maybe I don't know, but Rams didn't do much 2022. So I don't understand that one. So listen to this one. After the Rams, the Commanders, 219 mil. What? 219 million in income revenue. Commanders? Washington, D.C.? Oh, I don't know. I don't see that one being more than Denver or ahead of Denver. I don't get that one. And then you got the Chicago Bears at 288 mil. The Bears also? Well, maybe it's because, Chicago, they only have one football team. Well, they only got one football team in Washington, D.C. They only have one football team in New England, but it's the Patriots, and they get money from all of those colonies out there. New Hampshire, Connecticut, Vermont, all of those. So it's a greater New England area. So I understand that one. But the Bears, 288 million, little surprising to me. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are ahead of Denver with 281 million. Wow. Jacksonville. I don't understand that one either. They got many teams in Florida. They got the Dolphins, the Jaguars, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know. Jacksonville ahead of Denver in income revenue. Interesting. And then Denver at 266 million. That's unbelievable. That's absolutely unbelievable to me. I can understand Dallas, New England, the Giants because they're in New York, but that's about it. I do not understand Houston or the Rams, the Commanders, the Bears, or the Jaguars. I just don't understand that. Absolutely don't. Is it marketing? Probably. Absolutely. Has a lot to do with it. But Denver, last year didn't have that good of a team, obviously. Only winning 5 games. But Houston didn't have that good of a team. How are they ahead? That's what I'm saying. I don't get how they do their analysis or whatever, but it just caught me off guard. And I thought that was quite interesting that Denver was below all of those teams, and most of them I don't agree with. But I'm not the one doing the survey, or I'm not the one doing the calculations, so I don't know. This one, this is a lot shorter show than my normal shows because it's not a whole lot of stuff going on during the off season. But this one is a feel-good story, and I really, really like this. And one of the main reasons why I really like this segment is because there's a lot of dislike for ownership of sport teams or NFL teams, where they don't have your back. And if there's a player and they want to save a few bucks like Minnesota did with Delvin Cook, they just kick you to the curb, basically, let you go. They try and find a trade partner. Doesn't work. Hey, sorry, man, we're going to cut you. So I understand that, to a point. But then again, these are the guys' livelihoods. And then sometimes there's a situation that is totally not in your control. Absolutely not in your control. Well, obviously being cut is not in a player's control either, or being fired as a head coach. But that is in your control to a certain degree because you're the head coach and you should be winning more games. This is completely different than that. So I'm just going to get right into it. But I love this story because it is such a feel-good story that tells me that there are ownership groups and there are ownership families, a family that owns a team that does the right thing. And this is what I love. Here it is. When Hurricane Ian hit land last September, it caused $112 billion in damage. Some of that damage was priceless for former Minnesota Vikings general manager Rick Spielman. A 12-foot wave crashed through his home and wiped out all of his possessions, including 31 years worth of game footballs. However, the Vikings made a heartfelt ending to that situation. Minnesota Vikings reissued all of the game balls that Spielman earned throughout his time as a Vikings general manager. Spielman said, and I quote, "I wish I could put into words how special the Wilf family is. I lost all of my Viking game balls during Ian and its catastrophic hurricane. To my surprise, I received a box replacing all of those treasured footballs. I was truly blessed to work for the Wilf family, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will never, ever forget what you've done." End quote. Wow. You talk about doing the right thing as an ownership. The Wilf family didn't have to do that. He already got the game balls for various things, like being a GM, like having the Vikings get to the playoffs or the championship playoffs, or things like that. But no, they didn't just turn a blind eye and go, hey, well, sorry, guy, we already gave you, all those footballs for all those 31 years that you gave us. Sorry. Nope. They had a box shipped to his house with every single duplicated football exactly the way it was before, with, well, obviously brand new footballs. They can't retrieve the ones that were damaged. Brand new footballs with exactly the wording on it and everything that it had to say on those footballs were sent to Spillman. That, to me, is what ownership families should do. And that's why, that's why I love Pat Bowen and his family, because they would do the same thing. Because families have a little bit more interest and a little bit more heartfelt connection to their team, because to them, it is family. When a corporation owns a team, that's not always the case. And sometimes owners, like the owners of the Rockies, I can't remember their name, but sometimes they just don't take an interest, which is very sad. The Wilf family took a heartfelt interest and a heartfelt desire to repay and to replenish those treasured game balls to Spillman. That, to me, speaks volumes for the ownership of the Minnesota Vikings. Like I've said before many times, guys, the Vikings are my favorite NFC team. I'm not going to shy away from that. But the Broncos are my overall favorite team. I'm just hoping that if something like that were to happen, and the ownership of the Broncos now, the Walton Penner ownership group, would do the exact same thing. That's what I'm hoping. I don't want anything catastrophic to happen to any one of our players or coaches, but I have a feeling that the Walton Penner ownership group would do the very same thing, because they've already shown how much they care about the Broncos. They've already shown how much they care about this team. They've already shown how much they care about Colorado and Denver, the city, and the people. They've already shown that. But to me, what the Wilf family did for Spielman, that just recently, obviously, since September, of course, they had to take them time to get the balls and all of that kind of stuff. But to me, that shows tremendous character by the owner's Wilf family to one of their own, who's no longer the GM of the Vikings, but they felt led and they felt that they needed to correct something that was totally out of Spillman's hands that he now has back in his possession. He may not have his couches. He may not have his house. He may not have those things that are also replaceable, but something like footballs that were presented to him during, very, very wonderful situations was gone and is now back in his possession. Congratulations to the Wilf family for doing the right thing. And may the Vikings have success until we play them this year in November. Then I don't want the Vikings to win, obviously. that's a definite obvious. Let's see. Bubba says, so Morant got 25 game suspension, which I don't agree with. Should have been 120 games. Okay, fill me in, Bubba. What the heck was the suspension for? I didn't catch that on my phone or notes or anything like that. So I didn't catch that. So fill me in real quick before we head out. Before I head out, guys, I do want to give everybody out there a big shout out and a happy Father's Day to each and every single person out there that has children. I myself am not a biological father, but I am considered a father by my son, who I've raised since he was 8. And he's now, how old is my son? 40? 41? 82. Yeah, he's 41 years old. Holy smokes. So I look at everybody may not be a biological father, but everybody that has son and daughters and raised them, they are a dad, which to me is in the same category as being a father. You don't have to be a biological father to be there for your children. So I want to say thank you and have a wonderful, happy Father's Day to, this Sunday. I almost said tomorrow. Kept thinking it's Saturday today. Have a very, very happy Father's Day on Sunday and treat yourself. treat yourself to something nice, something enjoyable. And the most enjoyable thing you can do is to be there with your children who look up to you and who they feel safe and comfortable with. So everybody out there, every father, every dad, happy Father's Day on Sunday. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. And tune into all these other shows. We had Richie Rich on. He's a host of the Wild Wild West on Wednesday. So tune into him and this show. It's a great show. It's got features a fan from every AFC West team, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. So make sure you check that out on Wednesdays. On Mondays, we've got the Cluster Puck. On Tuesdays, we have the 5280 and the No Nonsense and Whiskey. Wednesday, we have, like I mentioned, Wild Wild West, and there's another one afterwards. I keep forgetting who these are. I got to write this down and put post-it notes or sticky notes up there. Thursday, we have two other shows as well. I'll get it down. I promise I'll get it down next show on next Friday. And then Friday is my show, Broncos Breakdown, hosted by me, Bronco Bill, live every Friday, 5 p.m. On the Pacific Coast. All right. Hey, Kamani. Hey, nice to have you in the house, man. I'm just getting out of here. I know I usually go about an hour, but wasn't too much to talk about when it comes to the off season. So if you missed any of it, Kamani, go back from the beginning and watch it. And I do hope you enjoy it. Until all the shows that start beginning Monday. Until then, guys, have yourself a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Enjoy Father's Day, and we will talk to you next Friday, 5 p.m. on the MHRT Network, Broncos Breakdown. Till then, take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.